Does your company need a boost getting employees to understand that safety is a personal responsibility? Does your company struggle with recordable injuries and lost time accidents? If that's you, give our friends at Wagner Industrial Training Systems a call today at 717-479-1052. Wagner Industrial Training Systems offers a variety of safety and continuous improvement services, including forklift certification and behavioral-based safety training topics that include lockout tagout, machine guarding, PPE, respirable crystalline silica, and countless other topics. Does your company require first aid, CPR, or AED training? Wagner Industrial Training Systems has licensed instructors to cover those topics as well. What would life be like for your family if something happened to you today at work? Give the guys at Wagner Industrial Training Systems a call at 717-479-1052. Also, you can check them out at Facebook at Wagner Industrial Training Systems. All of our Going Yard podcast listeners will get 10% off of their first class just by mentioning that you heard this ad. So call today. Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of the Going Yard podcast softball edition.
1 week, 2 episodes. It doesn't get any better than that, and this one is a real treat, honestly. We were very fortunate and very lucky to be able to get this interview in this week.
Yeah, because she just won a College World Series. So, yeah, she's got a lot on her plate. She's probably got a lot of resting to do, which we'll learn about that here shortly, but very excited for this guest and excited for our new listeners coming from the softball world. For those of you just joining us on our podcast, we're going to start posting some softball podcasts as well, some interviews with coaches, players, all the above, and trainers. And you'll be able to tell which episode that is because it's going to be labeled softball and you're going to have a picture of a softball.
Yeah, our brand new fresh logo. Thank you.
Yeah.
Shout out to Brent Colson at Colson Graphics for helping us out.
Thanks, Brent.
He created our Going Yard podcast baseball logo, and then I asked him the other day if he could help us out with the softball edition side, and he was gracious enough to help us do that. So you'll be able to identify all of our social media posts and all of our iTunes episodes and everywhere else with the yellow softball in the middle of the logo. So I hope you enjoy the content we're about to bring to you in this interview. It's pretty special, so, enjoy.
Yep, enjoy this episode from Florida State's own Meghan King. We are on the line with the 2018 Women's College World Series champ, Meghan King. Meghan hails from South Florida and played her high school ball at St. Thomas Aquinas, where she led her team to back-to-back state championships in 2013 and 14. In her senior year, she posted a 20-2 record with an ERA of .25. After high school, she took her talents to Florida State University, where she has put up some pretty impressive numbers over the past 3 years with a 78-14 record, 446 strikeouts, and a 1.66 ERA. She can also add a national title to her resume as the Seminoles clinched their first national title earlier this month. Outside of college, Meghan also competes with Puerto Rico's national softball team. So, Meghan, I know you're busy. Thank you so much for joining us on the podcast.
Of course. I'm so happy to be here.
Yes, this is Tyler. Thank you very much. I know everything's probably been really crazy for you the past couple weeks, but we'll just jump right in here and not waste too much of your time. If you can you just talk us through how you ended up at Florida State University?
So the recruiting process was a crazy, crazy time, especially since when I was going through my process, they were recruiting really young. So I grew up in the Midwest and really wanted to play softball in the Big Ten Conference. So I took a few visits at several schools in that conference and ended up getting an opportunity to compete with the University of Maryland. So I was super excited, signed my letter of intent to the University of Maryland. But I actually never ended up going there. There was a lot of stuff happening with their program. I really wanted to stay closer to home with some family stuff going on. So I decided I kept in communication. Florida State wasn't really an option, but I did look at them, and I was in communication with the head coach, Lani Alameda. So I kept in communication with her. I remember her sending me a really nice email, basically saying that she can't wait to compete with me and good luck at Maryland, because at that time, Maryland was still in the ACC.
Mm-hmm.
So I took a few more visits because I was kind of a late bloomer. So I took a few more visits. I got the opportunity to take a few more visits at a few top 25 programs. And I decided that Florida State was just kind of the home for me after I got my release from the NCAA. So that's kind of just how my recruiting process was. It was kind of a bumpy ride, but I'm really glad I ended up at FSU.
Yeah. Well, if you would have gone to Maryland, you would have been right down the road from us. So, I'm sure Florida State is great, but it would have been great to be able to see you play up here. But just kidding.
Of course.
The weather's much nicer in Tallahassee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Lots of warm weather compared to the snow up there.
Oh, yeah. It's a never-ending snow and rain, it seems, these days. So, but before we get into, because I want to talk, I know you're short on time. I want to talk a lot about the World Series. But I also know that around the time when you started playing at Florida, you also started with Puerto Rico's national team. So I just wanted to see, how did that happen? I'd love to hear the story behind that.
Yeah, I redshirted my freshman year, so I really needed to get some innings under my belt. And Puerto Rico and international teams play in the summer. Mm-hmm. So I got the opportunity to play for Puerto Rico. They really needed pitching at the time. So I agreed to play one tournament with them, which was in Irvine, California. It was the USA World Cup. And it's because a Hall of Fame pitcher, Jessica van der Linden, now known as Jessica Boulware, for FSU, she was a pitcher, and she was the Puerto Rican national pitching coach. So she kind of contacted my coach and actually wanted Jessica Burrows or Lacey Waldrop to get some innings at the time, but coach actually sent me out. And I just tried it. It was just kind of like get some innings. I was nervous at first because I knew that a lot of girls speak Spanish, and I didn't know that. But as soon as I got there, they were completely welcoming. The coaches were absolutely amazing. It was so fun to compete against all these other countries. So I ended up going to Canada with them, and I played a tournament in Canada, and I couldn't get on the roster fast enough because it was actually the Pan American Games that summer. Mm-hmm. But I did compete in Worlds with their senior team also that summer. So I played 3 tournaments with that summer with them, 2 with the women's team and 1 with the junior team. And it was a blast. We actually won bronze in Worlds with the junior team that year. And it was like the first time Puerto Rico's ever won bronze in a Worlds, which was just absolutely crazy and amazing. And and I just kind of stuck with it. But yeah, that's kind of how Jessica Boulware kind of put my foot in the door for that one. And it's just been an incredible opportunity. It's so much fun competing with them.
Sure. That's quite the experience.
Yes, for sure.
That's pretty wild. What a wild and crazy ride. So you redshirted, you went and did that, and then you show back up, I guess, in the fall for Florida State, your sophomore season. And obviously there's been some really good talent over the years there, especially pitching wise. How did you fit back into the mix, coming back in from all that experience over, with your time competing at the international stage?
I think that redshirting, as a freshman, you want to play. You went through, everyone goes through their own crazy recruiting process, and you get to college, and they're like, okay, well, you're going to have to sit for another year. So it's kind of like very humbling. It's crazy. It's like one of those things where you want to play, you're so ready to play, and it's like, okay, not yet, one more year. Like, we don't need you this year. And I think Jessica Burrows did an amazing job kind of taking me under her wing, because she actually redshirted her freshman year too, and just kind of showed me all the positives about it. And I'm so lucky I got to redshirt, because the college game is so different from a pitching mentality standpoint than high school or travel ball or anything like that. And I'm just so glad that Jess just completely took me under her wing. But yeah, she's just been great during the process. She's totally broke down scouting, pitching, games, everything. So I'm just really lucky to have her But that kind of helped me. She was just my right-hand girl, and we were just kind of like a 1-2 punch for those next 2 years. And all of my credit is due to her and Coach. I mean, they've just been absolutely great for my career there.
That's awesome. I mean, that's pretty special to have that mentorship, and I guess that's what college is really about in a way. I mean, and, you know, as you've, I guess, grown through the program, you've probably become that person a little bit now more so than ever, you know what I mean? So if you can you?
Yeah, for sure.
Can you talk us through the ACC championship and that run that you had to get into the regionals?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's where the cardiac kids kind of stemmed from. I mean, you're one out away, you're one pitch away from, losing that losing streak in the ACC. And I think it just goes back to that one pitch mentality. And I think the game of softball is so cool that we're able to have that one pitch mentality. And it's different from soccer or other sports or basketball or something like that, because you truly are, the game isn't over until the last pitch is thrown. I mean, so many things can happen. That one run could be a complete game changer. And I think that's so cool. And I'm so happy for Anna because she worked so hard all season, and finally to get those results in like at the absolute moment that counted is just awesome for her.
That's pretty special.
But yeah, I mean, the whole team just never gave up the entire fight throughout the ACC. And I think it really helped us just kind of start postseason off on the right foot, just never giving up in that fight mentality.
I mean, I'll never forget. I was actually staying at a hotel. I was with my son on a baseball tournament trip Memorial Day weekend, and you were playing in the Supers. And the game, you guys, if you can, just talk us through a little bit, because you ended up playing like at midnight with the weather delay and all the craziness, I think, that went into all that. Can you just talk us a little bit through that experience and how that felt?
And that was the Super Regional? Sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah, Supers. So the rain delay was super fun, actually. We actually played games in the locker room, and I think that's just one of the greatest things about our team is we just have fun. We're never taking the game too seriously. We're always having fun. So we kind of just got in the locker room, played games, and just made the most of the situation. We got out there, we put our best foot forward, and just the fight. As soon as we lost that first game, I mean, it's frustrating. Obviously, I mean, no one likes to lose, especially when your season's down the line. But I mean, the fight of this team was just incredible. And we got in the locker room after that game that day, and we just said, I mean, like, backs against the wall, just put everything out there. I mean, we worked so hard in the fall. After we lost to LSU last year, I mean, we never wanted to feel that feeling again. And we just explained to the freshmen about how horrible that feeling was. And I think that just really helped us and kind of fueled our fire for the season, for sure. But yeah, we didn't let anything stop us. There's been so many times of adversity over the course of the season, and we're just super lucky that our coaches put us in all of those situations. So then when those rain delays or kind of those things spurred up, that's nothing new to us.
Yeah, it definitely tells you guys. We can tell just watching. Something happened. There was just something that clicked. With UCLA, lost the first game, then came back and beat them twice on a Sunday. And then going in to face the Huskies, I mean, your mindset must have been, I'm sure you were on fire. I mean, your adrenaline was pumping, and I'm sure the pressure of knowing that right around the corner, clinching your school's first title was probably pretty overwhelming as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think that all those things are true, but at the end of the day, it's just another game. And the more you build up the game in your mind, and I know it's so much easier said than done, but the more you build up those kind of games is the more you drive yourself crazy. And that's what kind of happened when we lost to LSU in Supers last year. We won the first game. We were already freaking planning our flights to OKC and what were we going to do and where. And I think that's just you get ahead of yourselves. And I think that's the biggest lesson that we learn. And it's a life lesson too. But you never know. Plans change, things change, anything can happen. And I think that one of the best things about losing to LSU was that we learned that. And so I think that when we went into the World Series and ended up going to the national championship, we celebrated. It was awesome. Like, we totally celebrated after those wins. But when it came to the next morning to play Washington, we were all hands on deck. And I think that we really did a good job of just taking it one game at a time and taking it one pitch at a time and not making the game bigger than it was.
Yeah, and I mean, you guys had the sweep. Such an exciting 2 games to watch. I mean, your infield is absolutely incredible. And
they're amazing.
Just to kind of brag on you a little bit, 30 for that tournament, 34 and 1/3 innings pitched, allowed only 1 earned run, .21 ERA, the lowest by any pitcher in the Women's College World Series. So that's pretty impressive.
Thank you.
It's
all due to my infield and outfield. I mean, they're amazing.
Can you just let us in a little bit? Because we're watching it on TV. My daughter's sending me text messages during the first game because I wasn't home yet about the score and everything. Can you just let us in a little bit of what that atmosphere in Oklahoma City is like? Because on TV, it just looks so phenomenal. The fans are so into it. The game is so fast. It's impressive to see.
Yeah, I mean, playing in OKC is just a dream come true for every single one of us. And I mean, the atmosphere is just incredible. I mean, you're on the biggest stage of softball that you can be as a collegiate athlete. And I think the coolest thing about OKC is that the fans are there to watch softball. Unless it's kind of Oklahoma playing, I mean, everyone's rooting for Oklahoma because that's their home city. But you really only have the fans rooting for their specific teams that are just kind of right above their dugout. So we always say, like, these football fans, like, you're not playing in, like, an Oregon atmosphere or a Florida atmosphere where their fans are just on you the entire game. So it gets loud, but it's not, like, ruthless loud. It's just kind of, like, fun loud. So I think that's what we kind of did is we didn't make it bigger than it was. We knew our fans are incredible. I mean, the support that we got, parents, managers, alumni, just everyone, boosters, they just did an amazing job, and they were just our core, honestly, going throughout the World Series. And I think that's just the coolest thing is you have your fans behind your dugout, so you really can't hear the team that you're playing against fans. I mean, you just see a bunch of people just excited, just little girls just excited to be there and just watch softball. And I think that's just one of the coolest things about it.
It's intense. I think I enjoyed watching that more than I do watching Major League Baseball, and actually probably even men's college baseball.
It's become my favorite thing over the past 3 or 4 years, watching some of the rivalry games. Honestly, the speed of the game and how perfect you need to play to be successful is what blows my mind about how the precision involved.
Definitely the speed of the game.
Yeah.
The speed of the game is one of the coolest things, and it's one of the biggest differences, especially with the closer bases and stuff like that. And the pitching underhand, I mean, it gives a different look. So, I mean, it's definitely more of a fast-paced game.
Yeah, and, since we only have a couple more questions here, we appreciate you, sticking around for us. And I know you're busy, and this kind of has to do with this. Since the win, how's life been the last couple of weeks? I mean, and how is your summer looking?
My summer is looking great right now. I've just been kind of relaxing. I ran for like the first time last week, and it was extremely rough. I was like texting a few of my teammates, like, "Have you guys done anything yet?" They're like, "Heck no!" Like, we're still because they're not sending out our like lift program until this Sunday, I think. So they kind of just wanted us to really take a break off. But yeah, I've kind of seen family, hung out with my boyfriend, but I'm just hanging out, just like resting my body because I have to report for Puerto Rico on the 8th of July. So I've just been hanging out and just relaxing, going on the boat a little bit, just living the summer college life. But yeah, nothing too crazy. I'll start lifting back next week. And I've just been running around the neighborhood and stuff this week. But yeah, I've just been relaxing. I mean, the support I've gotten from friends, teammates, family is just like the reach that I've gotten is just absolutely amazing. I'm so lucky to have such a strong support system. Even teammates I played with back in Illinois when I was like 6 to 8 years old have been reaching out and just kind of congratulating me. And it's just awesome to know how much support I really have.
That's great.
That's so special. I love it's well deserved and well earned. That's for sure. I mean, as anybody saw, you pitched the grind of it and carried a big bulk of it on your shoulders. So well deserved break for you. And real quick, last couple questions we got here. looking forward after the Puerto Rican summer and all that.
Hold on, say that again. Sorry.
Just looking forward past your summer with Puerto Rico. What's your goals going into your senior season at Florida State? And what would you like? Obviously, you set the bar pretty high after this year. So, what would be the things you would hope to accomplish?
I mean, I just want to go have another good season. I mean, it was crazy because Team 34, when we lost to LSU, I mean, we thought that it would never get better than that. I mean, the talent that we had, the connection that we had, and I mean, Team 35 just did amazing things. But we have a new freshman class, coming in, and it's a new team. I mean, it's going to be same values but new team, and it's going to be cool to click and just kind of switch the leadership roles from the seniors that graduated. I'm really excited to go back in the fall and just kind of work our tails off just to get to where we were in OKC and just kind of have those dogfight kind of games. Personal goals, I would just say that my mindset in the World Series was I know that people are going to hit off me. I know that I'm competing against some of the best hitters in the world. And I think that mindset of knowing that I was going to fail just kind of made me kind of took that like pressure away.
Yeah,
and I think that's why I threw so well.
Yeah.
So I think that's just kind of the mindset that I'm going to have going into my last season. But most importantly, have fun. Unfortunately, there's not much of a game compared to baseball players who finish. I mean, this is kind of it for us besides a few go off to the pros who are lucky enough. And international, I mean, we have the Olympics now, which is outstanding. But from a college perspective, I mean, nothing gets better than this. I mean, this is the most fun. Even major leaguers talk about their college years and how much fun they were and how competitive and family atmosphere. And I think that's just one of the best things about this game. So, I mean, I just plan on going out there and having fun and just making it count and just making it count with the people around me. So
right on.
Super, super excited. And I know that there's been so many girls that have just reached out to me on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. And I mean, it's just crazy because I was one of those little girls. I mean, I had a DM from Cat Off tweeted me, and I was totally fangirling, in my house and in my family group chat. And I mean, I remember going to the cages with them and cardboard cutouts, like, like sporting out their new bat or glove. And I mean, just them like reaching out is just the coolest thing. And it just can give so much inspiration to the little girls, I mean, who are DMing me because, I mean, I was in their same shoes 10 years ago. So, I mean, it's just been awesome and so lucky to, just be a part of this win.
Nice.
And I'm glad to see that the softball girls are getting a lot more respect than just the baseball guys at Florida State, because you girls deserve the credit for sure for, bringing that school to the forefront with this.
Yeah, I mean, we've just gotten so much support throughout the university, throughout Tallahassee. We're so lucky to just get all of this support. And, I mean, our coaches deserve the world, and just to see that they're finally getting the recognition that they deserve is just, it really counts for the girls, for us at least. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, our coaches are just some of the best people I've ever met. I'm so lucky to play for them. And just to get that experience and then finally getting the recognition that they deserve is just absolutely awesome. And I'm so glad that we could do it for them and do it for the university.
Excellent. That's great. Well, Meghan, we really appreciate you coming on. I have one last question for you. This is something that we ask everyone, and so I didn't give you much time to think about it, so I'm kind of putting you on the spot, but you're good under pressure. We've already learned that. If you had one pitching appearance in professional softball, what would you choose for your walkout song to the mound?
Welcome, or Jungle.
Welcome to the Jungle? Guns N' Roses?
Jungle. No, it's not Welcome to the Jungle. It's called Jungle.
Okay.
By Commodores and the Ex-Ambassadors. It's my walkout song for the last 3 years, and I plan on making it my 4th year next year. But yes, it's called Jungle.
All
it's
right.
Definitely my pump-up song. I actually played it, or I had it played for me when I was playing for Puerto Rico in Worlds as kind of just like a pitcher switch.
Uh-huh.
And we were playing against the Japan team, and we actually beat them for the first time in Puerto Rico history. I closed that game, and it was like totally pumped me up. It was like bottom of the 7th with a few runners on base, and I ended up getting to save that game. But just to hear that song, it was just the coolest moment ever, just for Puerto Rico in general.
That's
so
great.
yeah, so I made it my walk-up song the last 3 years.
All right. Well, we appreciate you taking the time. I'm sorry we went a little over, but we want to thank
No,
you.
you're fine.
I know that for those of you who are listening, she talked to our daughters for about 5 minutes, and our daughters had questions for her. They're both pitchers, and they were really excited. So we appreciate you talking to them. That made their night for sure. So, so thank you so much, and enjoy your summer.
Of course. Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yes, we wish you the best of luck, and we will always be tuning in to what you're doing on the big stage. That's for sure. And stay healthy, and good luck to Florida State. Good luck to Team Puerto Rico.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, guys.
Yep, no problem. See ya.
you.
Well, it's too long living in the same old life. I feel too cold to live, too young to die.
All right. Hope you guys enjoyed that interview. We were so lucky to get her on. I mean,
That was so special. I mean,
My gosh.
we can't thank her enough with all she has going on right now. So it was very exciting. I hope that everybody who has a daughter playing softball out there listens to this and shares it with them and allows them to hear it, because, man, it's very inspirational.
Yeah, what a perfect person to have on for our first week of softball episodes. So
Very true.
We look forward to getting some new listeners, and for the new listeners out there in the softball world, if you'd like to ask us anything, or anybody you'd like to have on the episode going forward, we'll do our best to reach out to them and try to get them on. Any products that you want us to talk about, anything, just let us know. But for now, I think that pretty much wraps up the episode. As always, subscribe to us on all things social media at Going Yard Podcast, and on Twitter at Going Yard and the number 2.
You can find us, all of our episodes, baseball and softball related, on iTunes. Subscribe there so they automatically download on your phone. Leave us a 5-star review if you would. You can also find our content on SoundCloud, on Google Play, and also our webpage, our Podbean webpage. You can find us on there. We post videos and pictures and other content on there as well.
All right, so that'll wrap up this episode. So for Meghan King, I'm Dan.
And I'm Tyler. See ya.
Later.